Eden and I married into the city's most untouchable family. I married the corporate heir, Nathaniel. She married the A-list Hollywood actor, Zane. She stared at the leaked paparazzi photos. Zane, arm in arm with Penelope, the girl he never quite forgot. Eden asked, trying to hide her pain. Are you divorcing him? Once we are officially divorced, we'll travel the world. 2 male models each. I stared at my phone screen, reading the press release that named Penelope as the new global ambassador for Nathaniel's empire. I set my jaw. I'm filing. And make sure my male model is absolutely shredded, I added, the obsession taking over. Nathaniel has an 8-pack. The new guy needs 10. A massive hand clamped on the back of my neck, hauling me backward until my spine hit a rock-solid chest. If you're so obsessed with my body, why the hell are you leaving? Nathaniel's low growl vibrated against my ear. Her finger froze on the glowing screen. I leaned closer. Holy shit. A famous paparazzi account just dropped a bombshell. Zane, caught dining with the freshly returned sweetheart, Penelope. They were walking arm in arm, looking incredibly intimate. Penelope was the ghost haunting the Sterling brothers. Since the day we had married them, she had only existed in the clueless, sweet ramblings of our mother-in-law, Victoria. Penelope hasn't called me. I miss her so much, Victoria would sigh. Can one of you text Penelope? See when she's flying back to the States? Penelope this. Penelope that. It was pure psychological gaslighting. Eden's face went blank for a split second. Then the mask slipped back on. She swallowed the betrayal. I'm filing for divorce, she said flatly. Are you? My temptation meter hit 10%. I was Eden's shadow my entire life. She was a STEM major, I was a STEM major. She went to Yale, I followed her to Yale. She married a Sterling, I eagerly married the older brother. But my husband wasn't the one caught on a date. Filing for divorce felt extreme. Eden sensed my hesitation. She raised the stakes. I have Zane's platinum card. I'll fund everything. Once we're free, we travel the world. 2 male models each. Temptation spiked to 40%. A male model sounded fun, but probably lacked Nathaniel's lethal stamina. 10 male models, she pushed. 80%. My eyes went wide. The word yes hovered on my tongue. Common sense barely held me back. Ding. A push notification flashed across my lock screen. Fresh-faced starlet Penelope inks $50 million deal as global ambassador for Sterling Corp. The attached photo showed her cutting a ribbon beside Nathaniel. She beamed, radiating pure victory. And my ruthless husband? He was staring at her with dark, consuming intensity. He never looked at me like that. Whenever I joked around or acted goofy, he just gave me a deadpan glare. Are you out of your mind? He'd ask. A sour taste flooded my mouth. I made the call. I'm getting a divorce. Eden's eyes lit up. She instantly dialed her lawyer, Brooks. She started rattling off asset division strategies like a total shark. She demanded half the Sterling empire. My jaw practically hit the floor. That was generational wealth. She even haggled with Brooks on speakerphone. 2 divorces. Give us a 20% bundle discount. This was exactly why Eden called the shots and I followed. Her brain just worked better than mine. I stared at my lock screen. A gorgeous wedding portrait of me and Nathaniel. A tiny ache hit my chest. Nathaniel gave me unlimited black cards. But the mind-blowing orgasms he delivered behind closed doors, that was hard to walk away from. I cleared my throat, my voice weak. Hey! Make sure my male model is top tier. Eden snapped her head toward me, her face instantly freezing. I was too deep in my delusion to notice. He absolutely has to perform better in bed than Nathaniel. Eden slapped a hand over her mouth, muffling a gasp, her trembling finger pointing right over my shoulder. Before I could even turn my head, a large, familiar hand clamped down. Fingers gripped the nape of my neck, hoisting me up like a misbehaving kitten and dragging me flush against his rigid side. The temperature in the room plummeted. If I perform so well, Nathaniel murmured, the vibration of his deep baritone sinking into my bones, why the hell are you leaving? Nathaniel narrowed his dark eyes at Eden. He looked at her like she was the one gaslighting me into walking away. Eden, he bit out the words, his jaw flexing. Zane is minutes away. I suggest you figure out exactly how you're going to explain this mess to him. Eden froze. She sank heavily onto the designer sofa, her mind visibly racing. She completely ignored my panicked, wide-eyed stares. Some ride or die bestie. I swallowed hard, my gaze trapped on Nathaniel's sharp, unforgiving profile. He snapped his head toward me. The hostility in his eyes instantly shifted. A microscopic smirk ghosted across his lips, but his baritone remained ice-cold. 1 divorce in this family is enough. They can split. We stay. His voice felt like a magic potion to me. It bewitched me into nodding. I nodded dumbly. The divorce papers and the army of male models instantly vaporized from my brain. The roar of a sports car engine came from outside. Zane. The flashy gearhead was home. With a sudden screech of brakes, less than a minute later, the front door flew open. He must have sped straight from the film set. He was still half-dressed in his period drama costume, sheer exhaustion etched deeply into his features. His gaze swept over us. Nathaniel. Ren. Nathaniel's large hand gripped my waist, pulling me flush against him. He gave a single, dismissive nod. Your wife just tried to talk my wife into a divorce. Handle it. Zane marched straight toward Eden, rubbing his temples with an impatient sigh. Eden, what the hell is it this time? Last time you threatened to leave over a kissing scene, I banned them from all my contracts. The time before that, Cora baked me a damn cake, and I fired her on the spot. What is your problem now? Eden let out a humorless, icy laugh. She chucked her phone directly at his chest. Look at it yourself. I leaned forward, desperate for the front row drama, but Nathaniel hooked a muscular arm around my waist and hauled me away. Let them handle their own mess, he muttered against my hair. Aren't we all literally in the same family? I thought. But I kept my mouth shut and let him drag me out to the garage. Sitting in the passenger seat, I kept my voice soft. Why Penelope? She just flew back to the States. Her resume was completely empty. 0 hit movies. We literally had an A-list actor in the family, even if they wanted to avoid a conflict of interest. Hollywood was overflowing with top-tier talent. Penelope didn't deserve that contract in a million years. Ren, don't let Eden feed you her paranoia, he stated flatly, his large hands gripping the leather steering wheel. Penelope is just a girl we grew up with. A little sister. I don't see her like that. Just a little sister? A sharp, physical ache bloomed in my chest. My throat went painfully tight. Right after our wedding, I had found a hidden Polaroid shoved deep in his nightstand. My hands trembled as I showed it to Eden. Eden hadn't said a single word. She just walked into her own bedroom and pulled out the exact same Polaroid. It was a group shot. All 3 of them. Penelope stood dead center, flashing an innocent, angelic smile. Nathaniel had cropped Zane out of the right side. Zane had cropped Nathaniel out of the left. Such perfect synchronization, exactly what you'd expect from biological brothers. I clamped my jaw shut. I cranked the stereo volume to the max and stared blankly at the blur of the passing city. He hauled me straight up to his executive suite. He refused to let me out of his sight. He dragged me into a high-stakes board meeting, shoving a legal pad and an expensive pen into my hands like I was a toddler, forcing me to sit directly behind his leather chair and doodle. I had to admit, Nathaniel was really handsome when he was working. The gold-rimmed glasses sharpened his ruthless features. His dark eyes were glued to the projector screen. When he interrupted the executives, his voice cut through the room like a scalpel, precise, dominant, and brutal. His face remained an unreadable mask, but every few minutes, he'd glance back over his broad shoulder. His intense gaze would lock onto mine. A silent, heavy look that screamed, I know you're bored. Almost done.